Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a fascinating geopolitical shift. It's this recent and honestly quite unexpected warming of relations between India and China, two huge Asian powers.
Absolutely. Quite a surprise for many observers.
We've gathered quite a bit for you. Reports from the Times of India, DNA, First Post, BBC, the major outlets, plus some strategic analysis notes.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to unpack what's driving this thaw, look at the actual steps being taken, and understand the bigger picture, especially this surprising role external pressures seem to be playing.
And understanding this shift is really crucial for you, the listener. It helps make sense of the evolving global landscape and these really complex dynamics at play.
It really does.
It's not just about India and China. It's about how things ripple outwards, how events you might not think are connected can actually reshape major alliances.
Okay, so let's kick this off. A really high-level visit just happened that seems to signal a pretty significant shift. We're talking about the Chinese foreign minister, Wang Yi. He was in New Delhi for 2 days, August 18th and 19th. 2025.
Right.
And while he was there, he met with PM Modi, External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar, and NSA Ajit Doval.
A full roster.
Yeah, and apparently the visit was actually at NSA Doval's invitation. It also included the 24th round of the Special Representatives talks, the SR talks, on the boundary issue.
And that's key. Those SR talks are the main channel for the border disputes.
Exactly.
What's really fascinating here, context-wise, is that these are only the second, high-level interactions like this since those deadly clashes in Galwan Valley back in June 2020.
Right. Galwan. That really froze things.
It did. It led to a major breakdown in ties, pushed the relationship into a really, really difficult place. So just the fact they're meeting at this level again says a lot.
It definitely does. And Jai Shankar, India's External Affairs Minister, he apparently stressed the need to move ahead from a difficult period in our ties. And he said that differences must not become disputes, nor competition conflict. Quite direct.
Strong wording. Necessary, perhaps.
And Wang Yi, also in New Delhi, echoed this. He said, India and China should see each other as partners, not adversaries or threats. And he acknowledged that the recent setbacks were not in our interest.
Owning some of the difficulty there.
Seems like it. And after the meeting, PM Modi actually posted on X. He said he was happy to meet Wang Yi and noted steady progress since his own meeting with President Xi in Kazan last year.
The Kazan meeting. That was the precursor.
Right. Modi said the progress was guided by respect for each other's interests and sensitivities.
Modi putting that out publicly, especially on X, it's more than just diplomatic language. It signals an intention maybe to shift the narrative, build some confidence after all that strain.
Good point. It manages public perception, too.
Exactly.
But how did we even get here? I mean, what really sparked this thaw? It seemed quite sudden. What could push these two, with all their history tensions, closer together?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The sources point strongly towards an unexpected catalyst, almost a classic case of, unintended consequences, you could say.
Okay.
It seems to be linked to U.S. President Donald Trump's recent imposition of really steep tariffs on Indian exports.
The tariffs, right. How steep are we talking?
Escalated to 50%. That's an extra 25% penalty on top of an initial 25% base rate.
Wow, 50%. And the U.S. justification for that was?
Officially.
Right.
Retaliation for India buying Russian oil, which, now makes up about 36% of India's crude imports. A significant chunk.
And Trump's been quite vocal, hasn't he? Calling India's economy dead and tariffs obnoxious.
He has. Not holding back.
So the U.S. pressure?
Exactly. If you connect this to the bigger picture, this American move might have inadvertently pushed India and China closer, even though the U.S. certainly isn't taking credit for any thaw.
Right. And India's reaction to the tariffs, they weren't happy, I assume?
Not at all. Indian policymakers see them as unfair, unjustified. They argue India actually has low tariffs on many U.S. goods, while, the U.S. and Europe are still buying Russian fertilizers and chemicals.
So a double standard argument.
That's the view from New Delhi. And China's response has been quite telling, too.
How so?
Well, officially, Wang Yi denounced using tariffs as a weapon to suppress other countries. Pretty clear message there. But beyond words, Beijing made some symbolic moves. They eased restrictions on urea exports to India. India imports a lot of that fertilizer.
A practical gesture.
Right. And even the Chinese ambassador in India, Xu Feihong, posted on social media something like, "Give the bully an inch, he will take a mile." A pretty pointed comment.
Wow. Okay. So China's sort of extending an olive branch, or at least making supportive noises.
Seems that way, and this hasn't gone unnoticed back in the U.S. People are concerned.
Like who?
Well, former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton warned that these kinds of tariffs could, quote, push India closer to Russia and to China, undermining decades of U.S. policy trying to pull India away from them.
That's a big warning.
It is. And even White House trade advisor Peter Navarro accused India of cozying up to both Russia and China. Analysts generally agree that Trump's very confrontational stance towards China, well, it creates a shared interest for India and Beijing now.
So a policy aimed at one rival inadvertently helps bridge the gap between two others.
Precisely. The law of unintended consequences in geopolitics playing out right there.
Okay, so beyond the high-level meetings and the tariff drama, what's actually changing on the ground? What practical steps are being taken to, normalize things day to day?
That's a crucial question, and there are several concrete areas. A major one is the boundary issue itself.
The SR talks you mentioned.
Yes, the 24th round just concluded. Both sides stressed that peace and stability along the India-China border are essential for better ties overall. And Wang Yi even went so far as to say that stability has now been restored at the border.
Restored. That's a strong claim after everything.
It is. It follows that agreement they reached back in October 2024 to disengage troops from those friction points like Demchok and Depsang. That formally ended the standoff that started way back in May 2020.
Right, that long standoff. So some real movement there, potentially.
Potentially, though, the implementation on the ground is always complex. It's not just flipping a switch.
True. What else beyond the border?
Economic and trade issues were definitely on the table. China apparently promised to look into India's concerns about supplies of things like rare earths, fertilizers, tunnel boring machines, critical stuff.
Okay.
And there are efforts now to actually resume border trade through those designated passes Lipulekh in Uttarakhand, Shipkila in Himachal, Natula in Sikkim.
Reopening trade routes. That feels significant for local economies, too.
Absolutely. It's not just symbolic. It affects livelihoods. And we're seeing similar moves in people-to-people contacts. That's often a good barometer of thawing relations.
Like what?
Well, India has started issuing tourist visas again to Chinese nationals. That stopped for a while.
Okay.
And China has reopened pilgrimage routes in western Tibet. The big one being the Kailash Manasarovar Yatra, which is incredibly important for many Indians. That's been closed to them for 5 years.
Wow, 5 years. That's huge for pilgrims.
It really is. And they're also apparently in advanced talks to restart direct passenger flights between the two countries. Those stopped during the pandemic.
Direct flights, too. Okay, so visas, pilgrimages, flights. It feels like they're rebuilding basic connections.
Exactly. And they also discuss things like sharing river data, broader connectivity. It's a package of measures aimed at rebuilding, well, some semblance of normalcy and maybe trust.
It's important for you, the listener, to realize these steps, like restarting flights or opening pilgrimage routes, they aren't just lines on a map. They represent a real effort, often painstaking, to rebuild comfort in interaction that was lost.
That's a great point. Behind every reopened border pass or resumed flight, there are real people, businesses, communities affected. It's not just abstract diplomacy.
So, stepping back again, how does all this, the thaw, these steps, how does it fit into the bigger picture? India's place in the world, global power dynamics.
Well, it ties directly into India's stated foreign policy. Minister Jaishankar has been quite clear. He talks about India seeking a fair, balanced, and multipolar world order, and that includes a multipolar Asia.
Multipolarity.
Not picking sides.
Essentially, yes. Advocating for reformed multilateralism, this whole position really underscores India's commitment to strategic autonomy, making its own choices, not getting locked into one bloc. It wants to shape a more equitable global system, have flexibility, and the timing of Wang Yi's visit, coming right when trade friction with Washington is high, that just highlights this flexibility, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Those U.S. tariffs clearly shifted India's immediate strategic calculus, opening this diplomatic window with China.
And that's clearly causing some worry in the U.S.
Definitely. As we mentioned, analysts are warning that treating India purely as a transactional partner, based on single issues like Russian oil, risks undermining the whole Indo-Pacific strategy the U.S. has spent years building.
Right. Bolton's warning again.
Exactly. He warned that the secondary sanctions aimed at Russia could backfire badly, pushing India closer to both Moscow and Beijing. creating, in his words, the worst outcome for the United States.
A stark reminder that actions have consequences, often unintended ones.
Always, especially in complex geopolitical triangles like US, India, China.
Okay, so looking ahead then, what's the next big marker we should watch for in this unfolding story?
Well, the immediate focus is the upcoming Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, the SCO Summit.
Right. Where's that happen?
It's in Tianjin, China, from August 31st to September 1st. And Prime Minister Modi has accepted President Xi Jinping's invitation to attend.
Modi going to China. That's big news in itself, isn't it? Has it been a while?
It has. This would be his first visit to China in 7 years, not since June 2018.
7 years, wow.
And while it's not officially confirmed yet, there's a lot of anticipation about a potential bilateral meeting between Modi and Xi on the sidelines.
Following up on their Kazan agreement last year.
Exactly. They agreed in Kazan to revive these dialogue mechanisms. A face-to-face meeting at the SCO would be a very visible step in cementing this thaw we've been discussing.
And Modi seems open to it. He put out that statement saying, stable, predictable, constructive ties between India and China will contribute significantly to regional as well as global peace and prosperity.
Right. It sets a positive tone. The SCO summit could really be a pivotal moment. It also happens to coincide with the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between India and China.
Interesting timing.
Yeah. So it's a moment for leaders to assess how to navigate this increasingly multipolar world, and specifically how these two Asian giants will manage their incredibly complex and now seemingly shifting relationship.
So this deep dive really underscores how external pressures, like those U.S. trade tariffs, can have these unexpected ripple effects, reshaping dynamics that seemed frozen for years, and maybe creating new paths for cooperation, however fragile.
It's a powerful example of that.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Consider how often these kinds of unintended consequences, maybe from economic policies or other actions, can fundamentally alter alliances and rivalries in ways nobody predicted. What other hidden connections might be driving global shifts right now, and, how might they play out down the road?